Dear, dear, dear. Hello, everybody.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you haven't done it yet. Come on, Louise, hurry up. Come on, chop, chop. Chop, chop. You're slacking.
You're talking to nobody.
I have my phone in my pocket. How is everybody today? Oh, my
Do
goodness.
that more often.
Good day, everybody. Good day. Happy New Year to everybody. I got all the microphones right today. So everybody, Happy New Year to you. Can everybody hear me? Louise, can they hear you?
Can you hear me?
Say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Everybody, good. Do you know what?
You shaved. Yes, he did shave.
Oh yeah. New year, new me. Look at this.
And he's had a haircut.
Yeah, look at that. A bit blue.
Ask yourself how into your
There
full
we
lockdown.
go. How's that? Looking good. Oh yes, looking
you,
good
Andrew.
again. Yes. I quite liked the beard. Did you like the beard as well, didn't you? You said you liked the beard.
Yes.
You'd never seen me with a beard before.
I've seen you with like a
Stubble.
I've seen you with a beardy thing, but not like a proper full-on beard.
A beardy,
You know, like
a beardy
like
thing.
a half attempted a beard, not an actual real beard.
As in, I haven't shaved for a week, sort of beard. Yes.
Yeah.
So we, Louise decided to shave it off. She kept saying, Andrew, gonna have your hair cut. I went, Louise, I can't see myself. Andrew, what do you think about your beard? I went, Louise, if you want me to shave it off. If you want me to leave it, I can't see it. You're the one who benefits or is freaked out by it. So we left it up to you. We sort of came to the agreement that it did make me look old.
It didn't make you look old. It did make you look a little bit older than you
Actually
look without it. Yeah, because you don't look your age anyway.
Oh, you are kind.
No, you don't, and everybody says that. But the beard did age you.
It was good though, wasn't it? I must admit, it was good. You must admit, when we had that little bit of a picture taken on the sofa, the last question and answer, Ask Me Anything, it did look a bit dapper, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading the comments at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did look a bit dapper, and it was quite nice. It didn't take much upkeep, but yeah, I'm back to baby-faced Andrew now.
Yeah.
New year, new man. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, enough of that. So, everybody, welcome to 2021. We are here again with our question and answer. It is now the 4th of January, and we are back in lockdown again, which means that from today, in fact, from the Christmas Eve, before.
It was the 17th?
Yeah, it was a long time. It was a week. It was the Saturday before Christmas. The Saturday before Christmas, we had to close, and that's how it was. And we haven't been able to open the shop up since the Saturday before Christmas. We missed the biggest amount of money that we normally take in those last few days leading up to Christmas. We've lost all that, but we tried to make it up by selling online, which is what we did a fantastic job, and the team here did an amazing job going out and delivering parcels and repairs and commissions to over 180 of our clients. So a big thank you to Sharon and Louise and Jason and Gareth as well. Outstanding effort before Christmas. So we're on lockdown again. So we're not allowed to open the shop. The shop has to remain closed.
It's really sad because we're kind of right back where we were in
23rd of March.
Only things are that little bit worse in terms of
the virus?
Yeah. So it's just trying to chug along now, isn't it, I suppose? And do what we can, try and learn from what happened in the first lockdown, work-wise and business-wise, and just try and do what we can. So, question and answer. Before I go any further, remember months ago we did the giveaway for The Art of Stamping book by Mathieu Cheminade. Remember all that? Remember that? This is the book, The Art of Stamping by Mathieu Cheminade. Now, due to some technical problems, I have a brand new book, The Art of Stamping by Mattia Cheminade. This book here. All right, this is the book. Screenshot. There. Right, so this book is a spare book. The Art of Stamping by Mattia Cheminade. It's about 30, 40, 50 pounds. It's a good book. Now, I've got this book to give away, but I can only give it away to you guys who are here, who are here, the look on your face, who are here in the UK. So unfortunately, if you're anywhere but in the UK, you won't be able to enter the competition to win this book. It's a brand new book. It's sealed. As you can see, proof in the pudding is, it's a brand new book, completely sealed. So it's not my dog-eared copy with a creased cover. So yeah, you can win this. I've no idea how you're going to win it yet. So stay tuned. Follow us on. Oh. It's okay. It landed. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So you can follow us on where are we following you to? Us to? Yeah, wherever. Social media. Follow us on Instagram at. We need to change this, Louise.
It's a bit of a complicated
it's
Instagram handle, isn't it?
_the_bench.
I don't think we could have at the bench, though, could we? Because
we couldn't have at the bench, someone's taken it. We couldn't have at the bench UK because someone's taken that. No one's doing anything with it. So at _the_bench_UK. We want to change that. So follow us on Instagram on that. Follow us on Facebook, atthebench.com. Check out that as well. And we will let you know how you can get your hands on. Oh, yeah. This book. Let me take my phone out of my pocket. That was really painful. This book here, Mattia Cheminade. It's a mint copy, apart from, and actually I have noticed, and that was not me, the bottom of the cover there is just slightly dented. But that was, no, that was not, I landed it, it landed like that, like this. On the packaging that it comes in. So stay tuned, you can win that book, but you can only enter if you are in with the UK.
Personally bashed in by Andrew Berry.
Personally abused by Andrew Berry. So if you want to win, keep an eye out on Facebook, keep an eye out on Instagram, and we will let you know how you can win a copy. Anything you want to say, Louise, before we start?
I don't think so. Oh, yeah, I have some exciting news, don't I?
Do you?
Yes.
What's some exciting news? Oh, go on, tell me. Go.
I'm going back to school, online school, and I'm going to be doing Gemology Foundation with GMA. So that technically starts today.
It does.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to letting you all know what I'm doing, how it's going. Yeah, I can't tell you any of the content, obviously. But yeah, that's really exciting.
Hasn't come through yet, has it?
No.
Just have to wait for it to come through. And I think you get a little travel pouch with some tools and tweezers and a loop and your Chelsea filter and something else as well. So that's really cool, isn't it?
And I learn how to use them all, yeah.
You're better learn how to use them all. So that's a 6-month fast track course to get your diploma in gemology.
That's the foundation. The diploma comes after that. So
once
I successfully finish the foundation,
right, okay,
then I can do the diploma. Yeah.
Clever. So that's what you're going to do. So you're going to let us know how it goes.
So yes.
Perhaps we'll do like a bit of a vlog or blog on it, something like that. We could do, couldn't we?
Yeah.
And see how it goes.
No pressure,
Although we're not allowed, we did ask, we're not allowed to sort of to film any of the coursework itself or any literature because that's all copyrighted.
Just goes any of the content, of the course.
But as you go along and show your pitfalls and how you can, I think it should be good. Should be good.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So well done for that. Well done for that. Good. Anybody else want to say anything whilst we're here before we start? I can't see any of the, I can only see, I don't have any.
You can only see the top. Yeah, that's because you race ahead and you answer all the questions from.
Well, I like to see what's coming. So then if someone asks something, I can just go quick. Oh, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Can I have access to that one? Oh, thank you. But it's nice to know, isn't it? Someone comes in and I go, oh.
Yeah.
And so, and also, the other thing that we've done, we've gone and bought 3Design.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting.
3Design, we've also bought, we try to get the grant for it, but that's another point.
That's another story.
So we bought, in the end, we bought 3Design, We didn't go for matrix. We wanted to go with 3 design. Even though matrix is very, very good, and the latest matrix is very good as well, we decided to go with 3 design because they've been doing parametrics on the software for a long, long time, longer than what actually matrix has been doing it. So we thought we'd go with the experts when it comes to do things like parametrics, which means that you can design your piece, then you can go back and you can alter the size of that piece without altering anything else along the whole sort of tree, so to speak. So we're really looking forward to that. The little lounge, they call it, that gives us access to all the training was given to us today. We bought a laptop as well. That cost an arm and a leg just for a laptop to run that. We want a laptop so we can move it from house to here. And I think the other reason why we didn't go for Matrix, though I can't really remember if this is true, I don't think Matrix worked on a Mac. If I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, said the man who invented Tipex. Boom, boom. Okay,
Am I supposed to be laughing? Sorry, I'm just typing a reply.
All right. Andrew will be in the Matrix. Okay, everyone, you okay then, Louise? Should we start?
No,
I'll let you carry on.
Some information about
okay. Look up when you're ready.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be doing as well. So Louise has got a lot of learning. She's going back to school with the gemology, and she's also going back to school learning how to do CAD CAM. So we're really looking forward to doing that. We're going to be doing that between us. Since I said we got the laptop, we can use it on the Mac, we can use it on the laptop as well. So that was another reason why we went for 3 design. So we can use it on the Mac. So I can use it on the Mac at home, but we can only use it on one bit of software at a time because it has a dongle you've got to plug in. And only works with dongle. Anyway, it's enough of that.
Exciting times.
It's good, isn't it? It's a new year, it's a new start, and we're going to utilise this lockdown, which is going to be at least for 4 weeks, to its best advantage.
Yes.
But we're not going to work ourselves to death.
No.
We're going to make sure we have time to ourselves as well.
But I think that everybody really needs to think about... I think it's really easy to get into a bit of a slump after Christmas, even at the best of times, isn't it? And the thing is, we're not in the best of times, are we?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's good to have a plan, isn't it? And just think, this is what I'm going to do, say, in the next month. The course is probably going to take me, a 6-month
6
course?
months,
4 to 6 months. So, yeah. Oh, Joe did it's very interesting. Fab. That's good.
So, yeah, we'll keep everyone notified on the progress of all that, won't we?
Yeah.
And even perhaps we can even start doing some films from At the Bench when it comes to gemology as well. Because I thought of that lying in bed 6 o'clock till like 4:30 yesterday morning, thinking, I just couldn't sleep. So I'm trying to think, how can we utilise this Gem A? I think Louise could do some films for At the Bench, all about.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading. Sorry, I shouldn't be reading out loud.
What can we do? How can we utilise the Gem A? Could we think we can do some gemstone identification, how to handle the gemstone equipment? And we're going to get Louise to do that. So Louise is going to appear on some films on At the Bench, I reckon. I reckon that'd be a really good idea.
Has At the Bench UK been bought? No.
No, so it's At the Bench. This is purely...
Oh, just the name. Sorry, I thought you meant the whole...
No, this is purely on Instagram. The name, Instagram. No. Yeah. We've registered At the Bench, Media, Com, Academy, lots of things, net, co.uk, comms, we've done them all. Anyway, okay, so.
Do you want a question?
It is the 4th of January. Happy New Year to everybody who's watching. 2021, we are here for our question and answer. Louise, may we have our first question?
Yes, Jade would like to know, have you ever made a puzzle ring?
No. Next question, please. No, I haven't. No, the reason being is that there's a 4-piece, 6-piece, I think there's like a 10 or 12-piece puzzle rings as well. They tend to be made through casting. I've never really wanted to make one. If you want to try and copy one that's already been made, it's very difficult because the thicknesses have to be just right and the bulbous bits have to be in the right places for them to all to fit together. There are very simple puzzle rings that you can make that is really quite nice and simple. If you get, how can I explain this? If you get 2
2 rings, okay? So there's 1 ring, and then you get another ring, and then the other ring goes inside that one, okay? I can't really draw this now at all because this is really awkward drawing like this, because I think yep. Does that make sense like that? So if you have 2 rings that come together and they interlock, okay, like that. Okay, so you have 1 ring, you put it through the other, and you solder, okay? Then you hold it together and you twist them really, really tightly. You will get a little bit of a twist on each one, and that then will form like a bit of a like that, and this one will come along and go I can't, is it something like that? They'd be twisted, I mean, they'd be twisted on top. Or was it another twist on top of that again? And you've got a 2-piece, and a 2-piece puzzle ring is the easiest to put together. But have a look out for that, experiment. Yeah, 2 rings, and you can twist them really, really tight. The ends where they come together will twist over, and you can put them together, and it's like a little 2-piece. So, no I haven't, but I've made a 2-piece, but I haven't made a complicated one. No I haven't. Next question please, Louise. Sorry.
Okay, Sandra is saying, I've just bought some solder-filled jump rings. How do I know if the solder has flowed? Will I see some shiny molten metal?
Yes, you should. We don't often use solder-filled jump rings on metal here in the UK that often, although when chain is made, the wire is usually solder-filled, because the machine comes along. Sometimes they'll spark it closed, other times it'll just be passed through a kiln for the right temperature, and providing your surfaces are going to be completely flush like this, little bit of flux going through it, and as soon as you heat it up, you will see that little flash of silver or gold going around where that joint is. So yeah, you've got the ring here, you got your seam. Oh, John, my drawing is not good at the moment, is it? So there we go.
It's so cold in here.
You think, is it cold in here, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, comes along, joint there. It's exactly the same as normal solder, but the solder is inside. Yeah, so there we go. So yeah, what was the question? How will I know when it's soldered? You'll see a little flash of molten solder appear around the joint.
So, working on that theme, but regarding sweat soldering, if the solder is sandwiched between 2 pieces of metal, how do I know it has flowed?
You will see it. You will see between the surfaces, you will see a little bit of solder just come into the surface, and it should just be like a bit of a shiny little sliver coming to the surface, yes. Okay. Sorry, Louise, may I have a next question, please?
You certainly may.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, chitty chat.
You've lost yourself.
Right, sorry. Stoyle is asking, what should be the pressure and temperature? I've set temperature to 75 degrees Celsius in wax mold injector. Often I have small bubbles in the wax models. What could be causing them?
So I think my wax injector is I can't remember, it's in the other room. I think it's about 130 Fahrenheit, something like that. I would have thought 75 centigrade you'd have to go a little bit hotter than that. And is it proper injection wax as well? You've got to make sure it is proper injection wax. Sometimes it's the... Okay, Louise?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to have a look at my pressure on my injection?
Oh,
no.
I'm just going to go to the toilet.
Okay, so I'll turn off your microphone. Yeah, so I think that if it's a proper injection molding chamber, you should not get any pressure or any air inside the wax because the pressure's on the outside. I can only assume that perhaps that when the wax is going into the mold, there's some kind of air going in.
Okay, I'm just trying to think. It sounds like the wax is not hot enough. So perhaps when the wax is becoming molten, it's not completely molten, and perhaps there's some little air pockets that need to come on. Let me just have a look at the pressure on my wax injector a moment, and we'll have a look and we shall see what it is. So, and that's the toilet. Don't want to be in the toilet, do I? Wax injector. What's the temperature? There we go. Yeah, it is up to, it says 80 on the wax injector, and so I would definitely go hotter than 75. Mine's on 80. I would do it a little bit hotter again, but make sure it is injection molding wax. And it could be that's not completely molten. And the hotter it gets, the little air bubbles will all rise to the top as well. Okie dokies. This is a ball burr. As you can see, it is a burr with like a ball, but the teeth are going round it. And what you would do with that, you'd get one roughly the right size of the ball that you're after. You would get your charcoal block and you'd run it into your charcoal block to make a little divot. And I've got the little divots on this one because we've been using this one in the past for our 12-hour, if you remember. How close can we go with this one? There we go. You can see we've got all of these little holes running along this block. There we go, that's a better picture. Okay.
Can I just interrupt?
Yes.
You're having a little bit of trouble with buffering.
Okay, that's going to be
I am as well,
with internet. That's going to be the internet. It says excellent connection on ours.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll just keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I just noticed it a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay. So there's the ball.
Guys.
That's okay. There's the ball burr. You get one. You get the charcoal block. You run it in the charcoal block. You make your little divots. Once you've made your little divots, then you put your little bit of scrap in there and melt it. And then the flat surface, your scrap's on top. When it melts, it'll melt into a ball. We all know that. Silver and gold will always try and go into the smallest shape possible. Because of gravity and because of the weight of this ball, yes, you will get a flat bottom. So the way around not getting a flat bottom is to make a little hole in your charcoal block, put your scrap inside. When the scrap melts, the scrap will melt into that, and you then should have a perfect sphere. And that's how you get a nice rounded bottom. I'm not going to say anything more than that.
If only it were that easy.
Can we have a next question, please, Louise?
Yes, you can.
And don't forget, everybody, gemstone questions, save them up for Louise.
Thank you,
because
Andrew.
she'll be able to answer some gemstone questions over the forthcoming months. Next question regarding jewellery, please, Louise. Yeah.
Sandra is asking for jewellery groups to join on Facebook.
Lots of them. Let's have a look. There's lots of them. Let's have a look, see what my groups are. Do you know what? I'd still have a problem trying to navigate.
Go on to your little 3 dots here on the bottom right.
I don't have 3 dots, I have 3 lines.
That's what I meant. And
groups.
Find your groups.
I've got groups. Okay.
So, and then at the top here it says your groups.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See, thank you. See, where would I be without you? So we have got.
Actually, you wouldn't be so close.
So these are the groups that I am part of: jewelry, tool, tips, tricks, and techniques. Okay. So jewelry, tool, tips, tricks, and techniques. We've got inspiring metalsmiths jewellery, metal art misfits, jewellery metalsmiths UK, silversmithing and jewellery. Well, that one's ours. We haven't done anything with yet. The metalsmiths coffee house. There's loads.
I would say I've not got anything different apart from
let's make, or go on.
Jewellers Succeeding Online, jewelleryecom.com.
Okay. No, I haven't got that one. Let's Make Jewellery, The Jeweller's Vault, Let's Talk Jewellery Tech. That's about it. The Jewelers Network is another one. Jewelry Makers Guild. There are lots. Let's Repair. So all the ones with Let's Repair Jewelry, Let's Cast Jewelry, Let's Make Jewelry are all run by Craig Dabbler. You've got Rolling...
They're the most active, aren't they?
They really are. Rolling Mill Users. Jewelry Design and Techniques, not very often. So just put in jewelry. So they're the main...
Can you see groups, sorry to interrupt, but can you see groups that other people are on? So if somebody went on, so for example, my or your profile, would they see what groups we're members of?
I don't know. You told me how to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if you can see...
Jewelers Advice
kind of have a little bit of a...
Don't go on Jewelers Advice, Tips and Feedback. That hasn't been updated in 8 months.
Okay. Yeah, go on the current active ones, obviously, yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So those are the groups that I am pretty much, not necessarily active on, but I do keep an eye on from time to time.
Is it possible
and do
to list
post
the groups under the video?
Yeah, I'll get Louise to do that when we finish. But yeah, we'll certainly do that for you, by all means.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Stoyle is saying, sorry, due to the buffering, didn't hear the pressure setting for the wax injector, only heard the temperature setting to 80.
Okay, so the pressure is subject to what you're injecting. 80 degrees is what mine is. I try and perhaps go a little bit higher, it has 80, 85, okay? But the pressure is dependent upon the mold that you are injecting. If you have too high a pressure, and I think I would go around about, is it 1 bar? I can't remember. I'm sure it goes up to 1 bar. I have a bicycle, not bicycle, I have a car pump, a manual car pump, and I just do that. And every time I go and cast, I increase it. And I think it's around about 1 bar is the maximum. 1/2 to 3/4 is usually the right. If you have a huge piece to inject, like that spanner, you have to have a bit more pressure to force the wax all the way through the mold before it starts to solidify. Too much pressure and it'll squirt out between the mold itself. So there is a happy medium, and what I would advise you to do is that when you get the pressure exactly right for the mold that you're making, you write it on the mold with a pen or with an indelible marker, something like that. So then when you go and use that mold next time, you go, oh, hang on a second, was it 80 degrees? Yeah, okay, 80 degrees, yeah. 0.75 bar, right, okay, so we'll make sure you can adjust it with the foot pump or your compressor, make sure it's exactly right, and then there's no messing about. So when you get that pressure just right, write it on the mold. Next question, please, Louise.
Just going back briefly to the group thing,
yeah.
I think it's probably worth mentioning that there is lots and lots and lots of conflicting advice and opinions on these groups, aren't there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
Obviously you'd have to, as professionally, you'd have to advise to do your own research or ask somebody reputable that you know to be reputable. I'm not saying that people aren't reputable, but yeah. Yeah,
do take care. If someone tells you to do one way and nobody else is telling you to do it that way, then just really do take care with it.
Yeah,
as you say, it's like when we were discussing about a forum for us, when we were thinking, well, or a Facebook group, people leaving advice. It's like on here, isn't it? And we always try and say upon the chat here that any advice given within the chat is at your own risk, because we are not responsible for anything that you do as a result of doing on the chat.
Yeah, I mean, we do our best to answer all safety questions, but it can be a bit of a minefield, can't it, once you start gathering opinions from. So just bear in mind.
But please take in mind the advice that you're given. Think twice, don't take it as gospel, basically. Next question then, please, Louise.
Okay. Sandy has got a question around settings for non-faceted gemstones under 5mm, e.g. opal cabochons. Can you advise easiest settings for a silversmithing novice, please?
Other than the bezel. That's quite a recent question, that is, Louise. Have you gone right to the end? Or,
no.
If you jump, that's right at the beginning. That one is, yeah.
That's at the beginning.
Is it? That's at the beginning, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Did I miss anybody's question? I don't think I did.
No, sorry,
there was just some lovely general chat, which was nice. But yeah, I didn't miss any. If I missed your question, please.
No, sorry. I thought because my screen shows the latest chat, doesn't it? Is that right?
You shouldn't be looking at the chat. That's my job.
I'm sorry. Okay. 5mm, under 5mm cabs, not bezel setting, things like opal. Take good care with opals. Opals are going to crack. I would not try and flush set anything like that. You can get things like what are called snap tight settings. I don't recommend them because I find they're just very, very basic, and it's just like a very, very thin metal, and it's sort of, the metal is that shape. It's very, very thin, and perhaps it'll be that shape like that.
Not using bezels, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes they're called snap tight settings. You've got to be really careful, and because these are so thin, you get the stone on the top like this, and the idea is you push the stone in, snaps in into this, they open up, and the stone gets trapped within there. They are for complete beginners who don't want to do any setting whatsoever. Snap tight settings. If you have got anything under 5mm but not a bezel, you could make it as a bezel. Okay, so you've got your, so there's your bezel, okay, on a plate. You don't want to do it in a bezel, you don't have to. So why not do something, take out these little areas like this. Yeah, like that. So why not take out little sections like that, and you have them on that side as well. Okay, does that make sense? And then you've turned a bezel into a little bit of a claw setting, and then you can then push these over onto the stone. So it's a nice easy way of making a claw setting without the hassle of having all the individual claws all going together. But make it into a bezel and take away the metal and use those as claws. That'd be the simplest thing, I think. Or you can start making claw settings, but then it's this very small 5mm, or you can get a piece of tubing. You know, you can get your piece of tubing that looks like this, obviously, and do exactly the same thing with the tubing as well. You just then take a section of metal away from the tubing, like that, exactly the same way. Okay, and likewise on this side. Yeah, you get the general gist of the idea. So you can turn a bezel into a claw, and that's going to be the easiest way of doing it. May I have the next question, please, Louise?
Yes. So Hal is asking for tips on proper filing.
Proper filing?
Proper filing.
File in one direction. When you get your file, when you say proper filing, do you mean sort of holding onto a piece, or do you mean actual filing with the file? What I would be inclined to do is you get the file, you get the piece, you actually get the piece upon your bench peg. Let me use the edge of the bench peg here to show you. You get your file. Always have a handle on the file. It is very, very dangerous. There you are. It's very dangerous to have a file without a handle. I know everyone says we've been using files for 20 years, we haven't had any problems, but the problem that you may get is that you're filing away, and this part of the file, you're doing this, the file gets, there we go. You're filing away, the file gets caught, the file is in the palm of your hand here, the tang here goes into your hand, very, very painful. And I thought, let me try filing without a file handle, because someone says you can still use the file. And whilst you can, the problem that I find is that a handle will extend the length of the file a little bit. So you can hold down here, and you now have got the whole length of the file teeth, okay, to use. If you just simply have the tang, your hand has to hold on to that tang and also halfway up the file. So as you can see, there's the file end. I have to hold down here. So all I'm using is just this part of the file instead of all the file. So I know people say we don't need a file handle, but the file adds a little bit length. And I think then you've got more control because you can hold on to the file handle. Always file forwards. When you get to the end of the stroke, lift up slightly, bring it back, down, and go forwards again. Don't do that, okay? So don't pull the file back on top of the metal, because what you'll find, that will dull the file quicker than it would happen if you didn't do it. Do you know what I mean? So you file, you lift it up slightly, you bring it back, you file, okay? You file, lift it up, bring it back, down, file, up, bring it back, file. Yeah, you get the general gist. It's like when you're rowing a boat, isn't it? You row and then you twist the oars, don't you, then, to go this way? You twist them like that. So, didn't know I was a fantastic oarsman, did you?
Did you get your MVQ in rowing, eh?
It's exactly like filing. Don't drag. You don't want to drag the oars across the water. It just uses up power, doesn't it? So you go forwards, you lift.
Analogies.
You like that? There you go, like that. Okay, so you lift. I don't know what else to say. If there's anything else that the lady and gentleman wanted, I'll happily talk about it.
Prosecco corks, Caroline said, are good for to prevent stabbing.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone uses wine corks, champagne corks, Prosecco corks. Yeah, that's very good. But I still think a proper handle gives you, because look, there's the handle, okay, and there's the tang. All right, even if you put a cork over here, your hand is going to be up here, isn't it? Your hand is still going to be covering over this much of the file down here. So this bit of file is wasted because your hand is covering it. But if you add a handle, you can now move the file further up to grab this part, and now you can use the whole length of the file. So basically, if you've paid for a 6-inch file, you can use the whole 6 inches, not 4.5 inches, because your hand's covering 1.5 inches.
I think as well, you can say, well, I've been doing this a long time and I'm not going to stab myself with the file, but then, I've been walking around on my 2 legs for over 40 years. I still trip over sometimes. It's just accidents happen, don't they?
Absolutely. And I must admit, people have used files and people do get on well with it. And if that works for you, that's absolutely great. But if you are a beginner, and you're not quite sure, and basically someone's been using a file for 20 years without a file handle, they know in their head, they know how to file, they know all the pitfalls, they know exactly how to work that file, admittedly. But if you're a newcomer to this and you just don't know how to work properly, and perhaps the bench peg is set slightly lower than the top of your bench, and you're filing and that end of the file hits the bench, you're carrying on, your hands, and it's going to hit, and if you get that part of your hand impaled or split or nasty gash, that's you out of action for quite a while. That's a tender piece of skin. Okay.
Going back to Sahar's original question, sorry. I tend to mess up things while filing, like if I want to round it or flatten a side.
Okay. It's just practice.
It's practice, is it?
It is practice. You have to think about the position, and I know what you mean. You got a piece of metal like this, and you want to make sure that the top is nice and flat. I'm getting me close up. There we go. So you've got to be careful. I would, if you're doing this, okay, all right, you're going back and forth. You can't really see what you're doing because the file does not leave this surface at all. If you want this nice and flat, you file forward, you stop, you take it off. You have a look at where the file marks are. If the file marks are too close to this front edge, you know you've got the file too far forward. So then the next time you file, perhaps you'll just lift the file up a little bit and you come along and you file it, and perhaps always have your finger on the top of the file. Don't do this because the file is a bit wobbly, but have your finger on top. Always file like this. All right, so have the metal, you come along, you file, make sure it's well braced. You don't want the metal like this on the peg. You want to try and really secure it, perhaps in this part like this. So it's nice and safe. Come along, file. Too much on the one side, drop the file back a bit and carry on filing until the marks that you put on are covering the whole area. Off, have a look and do that. That is going to be your best bet.
Getting lots of filing questions.
Go on, let's have some filing.
Claire is asking how to add the file handle to the file.
Okay.
Yeah.
A file handle usually comes. I lost the file. A file handle usually comes, and there's usually a small little hole in the file handle itself. So that's great. At least then you know that's the central part of the file. What I would do then, there's two ways you can do it. You get a vise. Where's my vise? grab yourself a vise. Okay, that's going to go on the side of my bench. You put that, let's see if we can just quickly show you on here a minute like this. So here's your vise. If I can tighten this up really, really quickly without, there we go. All right, so then you have the tang sticking above. Okay, so you have a portion of the file here that is smooth. Clamp that, okay, like that. You get your torch. You heat your torch, okay, you heat the tang from here to here. You heat this up like this until it's red hot. All right, let's try and widen up this camera so you can quickly see. Okay, so you heat this up until it's nicely red hot. File handle, get it on the top like this, and then as you do that, then you hammer it all the way in. And when you hammer it down, you're going to get a lot of smoke coming out because obviously the wood is being burnt, and that is the best way to put a file handle on. Some people don't bother heating up the tang, and they'll just simply hammer the handle on. Usually what happens then is that the wood starts to split because the wood has to go somewhere and do something, and that is usually why there's always a little metal ferrule on the end here, and that stops the handle splitting at that point. But I would always be inclined to heat up the tang and then hammer it on right to the end like that. And that is the best way of fitting a handle. It'll be nice. If, like me, this file handle comes off, you can always put a bit of epoxy resin in the hole and then put it back on. But you should be fine. Any more filing questions here?
Yes, just briefly. Sandy says, I have diamond files as well as files with teeth. Does it make a difference when you're filing?
I think you've got the accuracy filing forward. I don't think you get an awful lot of action of filing, because I got some diamond files downstairs and they are really, really, really good. But again, I would always file in the same direction. I would not necessarily drag it back, because again, you can't really see what you're filing because the file is over it. So I'd always be nice and have nice, accurate movements going forwards, and don't try and do it coming back.
Yeah, I think we'll have one more before we move on from this file extravaganza. Warren is asking for tips on cleaning files, please.
All righty, there are people then who do immerse the files in an acid to try and sharpen up the teeth. That doesn't really sharpen up the teeth, it just removes a little bit of the metal to then get rid of the dullness. The best thing that you can get is a little bit of copper. Okie dokies. So you get a little bit of copper. Let me see if I got a file that's slightly clogged here, and I can show you. Here we go. Here's a file that is quite clogged.
You mentioned diamond clogs on soft metal.
Did they really?
I don't know. That's what
I don't know.
You mentioned clogging. It was just
I think. Don't know. I've never found my diamond files to clog. They may do, but they don't have teeth like a normal file does. So, as you can see on here, these little areas, these little dots that you can see are little bits of silver that are trapped within the file. And if you did file with these little bits of silver, they are going to cause marks across the surface. So get yourself a little bit of copper. You want to, Louise?
My microphone's off.
Your microphone's off.
Thank you, Bead Demon.
Okay, should we have a look before we go any further?
Can you hear me now?
You on? Yes, you're on now, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my question was Warren's question about cleaning files.
So, you got your file.
Okay.
Let's try and get this in focus again. Get this straight out of focus. There we go. All right, so we're in focus. So the teeth are running in this direction. So get the edge of your copper and just run the copper in the direction of the teeth. And I know you can see there's little bits of copper being deposited, but we're actually removing, as you can see down here now, we've got little bits of metal that are coming off, and this is pushing out the metal that is trapped within the file. There we go. So even just by doing that, you can see all the silver that has been clogged in this file. And then you can turn it over and do exactly the same to this side, and you can see how bad it is on this side, and do exactly the same on this side. You can see that little area by here now has silver trapped in it. We can come along and it's actually removing all those little bits. And there we go. So this then is all what has come off the file. And that is how you clean and unclog a file. Don't forget, all that now needs to go in your tray, okay, folks, because that is going to be silver or gold, whatever you've used the file for. There's no real need to sort of have different files for gold or silver, really. Some people do suggest it. I just can't be bothered to have different files, to be honest. But there we go. That's the best way to clean a clogged file.
Okay.
Any more filing questions then, Louise?
Not at the moment, so I'm going to swiftly move on before there are any more.
It's not that exciting, is it? Filing questions.
Okay. Kristen is asking, do you have any advice on how to bead set tiny free-form cabochon?
Bead set?
Bead set, yeah.
Bead set, free-form...
Tiny
free-form cabochons. You can raise beads. If you had your metal, that's the edge of the metal, and you have a cabochon, it can be a cabochon, it can be free-form. If it's like a nice oval like this, looking down on top, this could be your plate and this could be your free-form cabochon, okay? Providing the cabochon has a nice flat back and sits close onto the metal, you then would get a graver. How is that? That's not me. This is your this is your graver, okay? And you sharpen the point so it looks like that. You would dig that, okay, into the metal here, and as this graver gets pushed into the metal here, it pushes this little bit of metal up a bit. So the further you go down, you get the graver, you lift it up, and the bit of metal here then comes up like that. Then you can then get your beading tool on top of that, like that, and just round that off. And that would be the best way to bead set a free-form cabochon, because then if you have the graver that is that shape, you're going to get a little V shape by here. The bit of metal then gets dislodged into this little area here. That can be pushed up against the edge of the stone. That's that way. That would be the best way. You would need a graver onglet. It can be, the graver can be this sort of shape, okay? And the gravers always come like that, and they're just rubbish. A bit more of an angle. It normally comes like that. That is what you don't want. You want to remove all this area here and perhaps put that at a 45-degree angle like that. That is what you want the shape of your engraver to be, because you've only got this little area to polish. But yeah, you push it into metal in this direction. Once it's in the metal, and then you tip it up into that direction and pushes the little grain of metal onto the edge of the cabochon. So that's the reason why the flat, it has to be flat. If there's any sort of undulation, these won't be going over onto the cab to hold it in place. Next question, please, Louise.
Okay, Get Excited is saying I made my first string yesterday.
Excellent, well done.
Fabulous. All thanks to your videos. Oh, that's so cool, thank you. So, also saying, I've just started making rings at home, any tips? What kind of material should I buy? Yeah, I think, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anything you can, as long as it's just practice. That's all it is. You can get bits of copper. You can get some copper wire, round copper wire. Make them out of copper. People don't tend to wear too many copper rings because it reacts with the sweat and the acid in the skin, so not that many people wear copper rings, but it's great for practicing because you've got to solder, and it's the same principles apply to copper as it does for brass, as it does for silver, as it does for gold. The principle's exactly the same. It's close fitting joints. They've got to be clean. You've got to flux them. It's the right amount of solder. So no matter what material you practice on, it's all going to be the same. It's all good practice. So practice, practice, practice. Copper is the cheapest. If you're thinking then of making things out of brass, you can do brass, but I find brass tends to be a little bit harder, a little bit more tricky of a metal to solder. Silver is obviously going to be a good starting point. You can always recycle your silver. You can melt it back down. You can make some other strange designs with the rings that you mess up, whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's the practice, practice, practice that really does help you and do whatever you want to do. There's no real way. Just make plain bands, and from plain bands experiment, twist them and have double loops, and just let your mind go wild. I'm not quite sure what else to say on that. Any tips for making rings? Yeah, go onto YouTube, follow our films on YouTube as well. If you're not a member of At The Bench, there's a playlist on making a ring, I think from start to finish. There's quite a few other films on there where I had a really big rant about 4 years ago. Me rant? No, it can't be me. About you've been making rings the wrong way. You've been taught the wrong way. Check out that film. I think that's one of the best films that's available out there that teaches you how to make a ring the correct way. And don't ever, please, here we go, I'm ranting now. Whatever you do, don't do this. Don't get your piece of metal, right? There's your bit of metal. You want to bend it up into a ring shape. Don't bend it like that into a D shape so it's flat along there and to solder it. Don't ever do that. Ever. Why? Because when you then, sorry, so people will always get told to do this, bend it round and do this, because you've got to put so much stress onto this area here. You now have to make that ring round. Yeah, you're going to put so much stress on that joint. And if perhaps your soldering isn't fantastic to start off with, and you're practicing, your joint may be a little bit brittle, you're putting so much stress on that joint. Don't do it. Try and make the ring round as possible, and there's your solder joint there. If you do that, you've only got to solder that and then just tap the ring ever so gently upon the mandrel to make it round. You do this. Oh, please don't. I don't want to see anybody do this. So this is why I should never be a teacher.
Started him off now.
I should never be a teacher. I don't want anybody to be doing this, right? Don't do this, because the ring then has to be made round and you're going to put so much stress on that joint. Right. Sorry, I'll calm down now. Next question, please, Louise.
Okay. So Har is asking, what is the
safest... Did anyone mention about piercing saw frames? Oh, adjustable piercing saw frames. No, we're not going to go into that one, are we?
No. Okay. The safest torch/gas to use in a second bedroom with one window.
These are the safest ones, really, for the use. These are little butane torches, handheld torches, creme brulee torches if you want to use them. Chefs use these for adding that nice little bit of goldenness to the top of their creme brulees. Or there's this little one here, this one's slightly bigger. We have details on this on, do we have the link, andrewberry.co.uk/, like what Andrew uses? No, I just wonder if you had it on your,
Oh.
I don't think we do we?
I think I might.
Or do we take them off?
Ooh, what's... Oh,
stuff that Andrew uses?
What's all this? Memories and veg? Yeah.
No, oh, yeah.
I just know what they
are. That was from our YouTube.
This is our YouTube.
Okay,
yeah.
So go to andrewberry.co.uk. On the top, it says stuff that Andrew uses. Click on it, and there's some links to these torches. These are the safest torches. If you want to go further, you can use a tank of propane, but then that's a little bit more
High five. That's a little bit more dangerous in a bedroom. It's getting cold in here now, isn't it?
I know, it's freezing in here.
Put 50 pence in the meter, Lou. Gosh. Yeah, they're the best, cheapest toilets. But don't forget, andrewberry.co.uk. There's a nice picture of me taken a few years ago now. But on the top, it's got stuff that Andrew uses. And from there, it'll take you to books and the torches as well that you can buy. I think they're on Amazon as well.
I found it.
You've got it, have you? Yay!
Uses, yeah.
That's the one. You got it.
Fab. Okay.
So click on that and that should take you. Okay, next question then, please, Louise.
Okay. Oh, not a question, but the Mob 1080 is saying I've sold quite a bit of jewellery on Facebook during the lockdown.
Brilliant.
Fabulous.
Well
That's
done.
awesome. How did you do it? Tell us. Yeah, brilliant. Let's have a look. Jill, I think from 8 tonight we'll be joining you. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? But
what's that?
Lockdown, but when it's kind of like it builds up and up and up, and then you're kind of scared of going anywhere or doing anything anyway. So it's almost like a bit of a relief, isn't it? Even though it's horrible at the shop shut. It's just the constant sanitising when you're in the house or we're here on our own. It's just...
Yeah, we don't have to worry, do we?
Off, isn't it?
And we even have our groceries delivered to us, so we don't have to go out. I think the other day we had to get an essential item from Tesco. We had to get a bottle of champagne, the essential. But we wandered around Tesco's, and it was horrible. There were people walking straight past you, they were virtually bumping into you, walking the opposite way, wanted to cross in front of you, and they're just too close. And Tesco's, I think, I'm not having to go at Tesco's, I'm sure it applies to other supermarkets as well. They don't care about the sanitising of the self-service checkouts.
Oh, don't start him on this now. This is another one.
Self-service checkouts,
no.
They don't sanitize. You've got to touch the screen. You can't use a pen or anything like that. It has to be a human finger. All right? But they don't sanitize, they don't clean it. So
Okay.
take the pills. I thought so. Susan said, take the red pill, Andrew. Yeah. I will calm down now.
Yeah.
So it is, as you say.
It is annoying, and there were too many people. I don't know whether there were too many people in there, but
I think there's far too many people in there.
You can't control other people. This is the thing, isn't it? You can control yourself.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets.
And this is why we still have one person in the shop at a time. Can't now, we're shut. But when the shop is open, it's one person in at a time, because we can control the situation. We can control what they do because we're behind screens.
Yeah.
And if you walk past them, we can say, can we just walk past, please? Thank you very much. And we wear gloves, we have the sanitizer, we have the mask. You can control what happens within your own personal space. You go into a supermarket, anything like that, you cannot control. And I think it's not necessarily agoraphobia. Is agoraphobia, fear of open space, that sort of thing?
No, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
It's not like that. It's not like that. It's the other people you can't control. Should we have another question, please?
Yes, I think we should, yeah. Moving swiftly on. Sydney is asking, can you recommend an extractor fan for working in a small space?
I have never used an extractor fan because I always tend to try and work away. I think if you can work perhaps by an open window, near an open window, perhaps in front of a window is always great because you've got some natural light coming through, and then have a door open, you then will get a draft going through. Okay, so the draft will be coming through the door and out through the window, usually that way, and that then should be enough just to take away the perhaps the smell that you're working on, or the slight little bit of dust. You can get a device that fits underneath your bench top with a suction, and that will suck out anything that you're working on at the peg, at the bench pin. There's that. I find, for me, that's a bit overkill. What you can buy, have I got it here? Yes, I have, is a screen like this. You can buy these from New Concepts. You can make it yourself, okay? Something like this. This is like a little screen, and this comes off. This is a dovetail plate from GRS. That'll go on. Okay, so you got this. You can still put your peg on this way, like that, and now you've got your screen. That can go in place like that. It's got a lead here, but you can plug that into the mains. It's got lights
on the inside here. This makes a bit of a noise now. Yeah, but this can go in front of you. This will protect you, and you can still work away with lights on this area so nothing gets taken up into your face, so to speak. I occasionally use that if I'm using a lot. Some people will actually use a Coke bottle. Can you pass me over that water bottle over there, please, Louise? Thank you. Some people, and I've done this again, this is on YouTube, you get a Coke bottle or a water bottle like this, and what you do, you just simply cut away the whole half, basically half of the bottle, but leaving this area here. All right, your handpiece fits in the neck of that, and then because then you've got a shield on this side, you can still work looking through the bottle, but this bottom part of the bottle here is all cut away. So you can use that, and again, that's on YouTube. That's a really, really old film I did on YouTube about 8-9 years ago. So go and check that out. Very good film. See me without grey hair, it was that long ago. Next question then, please, Louise.
Yes, Kristen, it was best set for a tiny freeform cabochon, not bead set. It was best set, the best set for a tiny freeform cabochon.
The way I said?
The way you said.
I think that's the best way. The problem is with claws, you've got to try and make the setting to fit that. Bezel set, you've got to make an irregular bezel. Bezel set would be quite good, using some fine silver to be able to just get that exactly the right shape. Sorry, I thought it was bead, my mistake. A bezel set would be good. That's quite good. A bezel set, if you can get the bezel fitting all the way around, or if you can't get it exactly all the way around, do the same things what I just did with the bezel, taking away fractions of it by just then leaving little claws, and that should be fine. And you can be able to work around the bezel if perhaps certain areas you haven't got that close to. Louise is waving at me, telling me the time's up. You can then take away part of the bezel and then use that. Yeah, you know what I mean. Next question then, please, Louise.
Okay.
I'm going to put all this back now.
Is asking, is wax/3D modelling and casting considered inferior to conventional jewellery like filing, soldering, sawing, smithing, etc.?
I always find that anybody, if they can use a computer, can use CAD/CAM. They can use Matrix, Rhino, 3Design, whatever's out there. Okay, it's going to be easy for you. If you've got something in your head, you can get, and you, providing you understand what all the lines and the vectors and the booleans and all these sort of things to work out, you can make it. Okay, it's going to be easy. I think the trick is having the bench experience. You've got to have experience on the bench. You have to know what looks good, how it's all going to go together, because you have this computer screen in front of you and the ring can be this big, okay? And you have a nice fine bit of detail here, but that translates down to a ring that is like about 25 mil in diameter. It's going to be too thin. So you need to know how metal is going to work. You need to know how metal is going to flow when it's cast, because it has to be cast. You can get sintering with metal. I've never used that. But personally, I think you need to know how jewelry is made by studying it, making it yourself, and then you can go on to understanding how things are going to be made. Now, this is going to be a really good experiment because Louise is going to be doing the 3Design as well. And it'll be interesting to see how she progresses making pieces of jewelry, because you've never made anything, have you? Before?
Well, this is where my downfall is going to be, isn't it? Because I don't have the technical...
Is it going to be a downfall? This is going to be interesting, isn't it?
I don't know the limitations. I know the limitations of the software.
Yes.
But I don't know the technical limitations of what I'm doing, do I? So you're going to laugh at everything I come out with.
No,
every week it's going to be Louise's creations, isn't it? Louise's designs, and you're all going to have a good laugh.
No, but I think it's going to be really good, because then we can then turn around and go, okay, well, yeah, by perhaps not having, because I think it's like work. Someone mentioned earlier on about, do I work with metal clay? I don't. I have tried, but I try and work metal clay as metal, and it's not. I try and work it as I would work a piece of metal, and it's not, it's clay. So that is my problem. Someone who just comes along who's never worked on the bench or worked with metal, starts off with metal clay, they use it as clay because they don't know about metal and how metal moves and the limitations that metal has. It's clay to them, it's something that they can just mold, and from that then they will make something from it by heating it up and turning it into silver. But my downfall was I try and work it as I do metal, and it doesn't work that way. So I'm wondering whether you, who have no, not knowledge, you do have knowledge, has the experience of sat at the bench making something, whether I will be limited to what I know, whereas you won't be. And you won't be limited to what you know, what you don't know. Does that make sense? So I think perhaps the designs we may come up with will be completely different, but I'm not saying one of us is going to be better than the other. I think they're going to be absolutely fantastic, but you may come up with something completely different because you won't be governed by what's in your head and how to make things.
I think we're going to be silly.
You're going to be a free spirit, aren't you, really? You're going to be a free spirit when it comes to make something. The world's your oyster, but I'm going to say, no, but then you can't do that. Because I'll be thinking, well, you can't do it that way, because if you did it that way with metal, you can't do that, and you can't solder it, and that won't go together. And you've got to think about polishing, and I'm going to be thinking too much technical-wise, but you're going to go, oh, let's just make that. That looks fantastic. And then we're going to see then if it's going to work.
Okay, we're looking at the question. Watch this space.
Watch this space, yeah, exactly. 2 more questions, I think, then, Louise. What do you say?
Okay, yeah. Sandy is asking, do I patina before or after I make my ring or whatever piece I'm working on?
That's the last thing you do.
Last thing you do.
Last thing you do. So what I would do is polish it, and then you'd add some patina to it, and then just wipe off the high surfaces. But this is going to be the last thing you do, because anything you do after you've patinaed it, the patina is going to wear off. So if you solder it, or if you polish it with a polishing wheel, you're going to polish most of the patina off. So make sure it's nicely finished, nicely highly polished, the finished piece, then patina it, then get a cloth, which I don't have, and then just wipe off the high spot, and you're going to be left with a patina, and there's nothing more that you need to do. How's that? Next question.
Okay. Paul is asking, need 1 more parallel pliers. If I get a jawed set, should I do anything to the jaws to lessen the marking on the metal?
I've never needed to play around with any parallel pliers. I think there's only one manufacturer of parallel pliers. I'm not quite sure. You can get a little bit of emery paper in between the jaws and just move the emery paper. So the jaws are here, emery paper, and move the emery paper in and out just to smooth it off. If you want to just remove those edges as well. So the parallel pliers are like that, and then they're like cross joint like this, aren't they? Like that. Okay, so those are your parallel pliers. What I would do is get a strip of emery paper in here and move that emery paper in and out to smooth off. And then when you look on the front of your parallel pliers, those are your jaws. Let's do it this way instead, shall we? So those are your jaws like this. Okay, so here are your jaws. What I would do is just remove these little edges on the edge here. Just get a little bit of an emery paper just to take off that little outside edge. So this edge that you can see here, I would just remove just so it isn't too sharp. But that's what I would do. Some people use something like Thermolock for jaw linings, which is absolutely great. Some people will perhaps line them with a little bit of leather as well. They would glue a section of leather on the inside. I know Steve, is Steve on today? Steve Satow. He puts some copper. He will line the jaws with copper as well, which stops the marking, and then he lasers them on. But leather, we can have copper liners, and that would be fine. Do you have one more question, Louise? Go on, please. Let's have one more question.
Yeah.
Unless there's more questions.
There's lots more questions, yeah.
Okay.
Will you be putting the book competition on At the Bench?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Not on At the Bench website. No, we would do it through social.
Right, okay. So
Social media.
Facebook and Insta.
Facebook, Insta.
Actually, how do you then amalgamate all of the...
Don't know yet. I haven't even thought about it. I just thought about it today.
See, you don't think it through, do you?
Or we'll put, I'm not quite sure. Look, okay, all right. So the competition won't necessarily run on Facebook or Insta. It'll be announced on Facebook and Insta what I'm going to do. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. Come on, it's the beginning of a new year.
Yeah.
I've been busy.
You haven't.
I have been busy doing the hoovering today. I did, didn't I?
I'll tell you what, Andrew.
And I was busy in the gym.
You've got
I was
the vacuum
busy on the
cleaner out.
book.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll nominate you for a Pride of Britain award. How's that? Hey? Yeah?
Please, yeah. And also I'm trying to get anyway, I'm not going to go into it. Next question.
Right, okay. Focus group. I've had a question about the focus group.
Yes, okay. So obviously we are into lockdown. We're going to be finishing off the course now over the next couple of weeks. The majority of it is all built, it's all done. There are the few more films we have to do about 3 more films. We have to do one on a centre punch, we have to do one on drilling and one on practice pieces on the drilled pieces. That's all we need to do. We need to get some designs that Louise is going to be doing for us on what we're going to be making as well. Yep, that's your job.
Okay.
Yep. And then that'll be it. So we should be ready should be ready before the end of lockdown to go forward to the focus group. Thank you.
You realise you both get a more Welsh accent when you get excited or angry. I don't think you sound Welsh.
No, I do have a Welsh accent. People do say I have a Welsh, or a bit of a Cardiff accent.
Compared to where we live.
Oh yeah, we don't have any yet. No,
Welsh.
we don't, not at all, no.
You sound positively not Welsh.
Yeah. But I've noticed that when you do talk in the shop, the Welshness comes out.
Does it?
It does. And then when you're talking normally, otherwise, there's no Welsh real accent coming out too much. But I know there is, yeah. 4K Cone Love would love to know what your astrological sun signs are, Louise and Andrew.
Virgo.
Yours is Virgo and mine is Pisces.
Pisces, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what difference that makes. I don't know.
Compared to Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, that is good. That is good.
That's different. Barry accent is different again.
Yes. She has a voice, doesn't she, old Stacey? What's her name again? She's on Radio Wales, isn't she?
What's her name? Joanna Page.
Yeah, Joanna Page. Oof, that is an accent and a half, isn't it?
That's different to a Valley's accent.
It is.
Yeah,
yes,
very different to a Valley's accent.
Yeah, absolutely. Leslie Davis, can you both speak Welsh?
Tipyn bach.
Nac oes. Bore da. Prynhawn da.
Sut wyt ti heddiw?
Carach y drws. Shut the door.
Shut the door.
Shut the door. Carach y drws. Yeah, anyway, no we can't. Well, not very well. Go on, let's have a go. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Can you recommend reputable places to buy gemstones? It's overwhelming. Obviously, don't want to get ripped off. I'm in London, if that makes a difference at the moment, assuming everything is closed.
Yep. AE Ward, the counter service is closed.
Kerncraft have reopened today.
Yes. So if the ladies in London, AE Ward are in Hatton Garden. Okay. Counter service is shut because they've had to close. You can do it on Messenger, you can ring them up. AE Ward, if you go to them, tell them Andrew Berry recommended, okay? It's always nice for that sort of thing. Also, if you want to have nice gemstones, Craft is another one.
I think they are, I'm not sure, they call them a lot, so I don't know whether they'll be, I think they are web orders only. Yeah. They have helpful if they've got a really good Facebook page as well.
Yeah, Facebook really page, website, cernocraft.com. Hannah, nice lady, she'll sort you out, and the team down there will sort you out if you want some nice, like cabochons and gorgeous things like drewsies.
Give them a follow, because they do post some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, on Facebook and on Instagram as well. Is that it then, Louise? How about that? Any other questions?
Virgo loves to work, Pisces loves to play.
Virgo loves to work, Pisces loves to play. Well, there we go. That's very interesting. Marge got a rolling mill.
Virgo, very detail orientated and loves to criticise.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Pisces, very go with the flow. Yeah, you are like that. I don't think I criticise, do I?
We'll discuss this afterwards, I think, Louise. No, you don't criticise. No, you're very good. That's one thing you don't do is criticise. I have to say, you are very good when it comes to that. You're like a Pisces, you just go with the flow as well.
Okay. I don't though, do I?
Next.
Criticism is important though, yeah.
It is. You just can't let things just go by. You do have to have a say, don't you?
I do. Like, you accuse me of nagging, and it's not nagging. It is just asking multiple times.
I have to say, Louise, you do not nag. That's one thing you do not do, and I've never ever said that you nag.
Just ask over and over.
No, but you don't. Should we end the question? Let's end the question and answer, so we can stop and we can cut at this.
Can be pedantic.
We can cut at this point when we put it on At the Bench. So that's it. That's the end of the question and answer. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Okay. So anyway, going back to, you don't criticise. You don't go on. It's one thing that I love about you is that you tell me to do something, and you know I will do it. You don't keep
Eventually.
going. No, you don't keep going on. You don't go on me. You don't nag. And that's one thing that I love about you. You do not lag.
Do not lag.
You do not nag.
Oh, nag.
Is that it? How about that?
Yes.
Anything else from me? Don't I say? Said it at the mention. Could not be happier. You have some amazing videos. Thank you, the Mob 1080. Thank you very much indeed.
Fab.
Really do appreciate that. We've got so much more filming to do over this next lockdown. We've got so much work to do on it, on At the Bench. I'm trying to, what am I trying to do on At the Bench? There's loads of things that you can do on At the Bench that's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. The affiliate system has always been there. Not many people know about the affiliate system on At the Bench. For every person that you recommend to join At the Bench, you get £20. If you go onto your dashboard, there's a section that says your affiliate codes and banners. You can click on that. You can copy and paste your affiliate links, your affiliate codes. You can customize it. You put that into wherever you want to put that. You can put it onto Facebook. Come and join At the Bench. You can put it on banners. You can put it on signatures on your website. And if somebody joins up as a result of your link, you get £20 for every person.
Wow.
Okay?
I didn't know that.
Yep. But you have to have a minimum of 3, I think it's 3 people join up to have a payout, but you only pay out over £50.
Okay.
Yep. And it's the same if you have people joining up as a monthly. I think, I'm not quite sure how much.
It's still good.
How much. But in addition to that, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be introducing something even better than that. So not only do you get money, you now can get extra membership. So say you're a yearly member, for instance, and you get, say, 1 person or 2 people, you will get an extension on your subscription. So say you joined for 12 months and you managed to entice, your mate Pete down the road to join At the Bench. Right, well, his name can be Pete. I just use that because that just came to my head. You then will get an extension onto your membership. So instead of 12 months, perhaps you'll get 13 months and so forth. So that's something else we're going to be extending on At the Bench. Also, you're going to be getting credits for logging in, and credits can be used to buy At the Bench merch and extra films and extend your membership and so forth again. So there's lots of things that we're trying to get. Not just make it a site that just simply has films. We're trying to make it a little bit of a community. You can post pictures, you can comment on pictures, you can like the pictures like you do on Instagram, but we're trying to get it so people can actually be rewarded for their time spent on the website, and also for affiliates as well.
Yep. Got some questions about the sea urchin pendant that Bill very kindly donated, and the last raffle as well, because we've got a couple of things from the last live, haven't we?
We have.
The 12-hour.
Yes, we haven't heard from Bill.
I've been in touch with Bill.
You have?
He's very kindly said, just get in touch whenever you're ready, and he will customise it with a colour gemstone of the winner's
So
choice.
we need to have some images from Bill.
Okay.
So we know what we're going to be doing. So hopefully we'll get them over the next couple of days.
And you need to finish the granulated.
And they're still by here where they were from the 28th of December. They are. They're here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Claire
yes.
was asking, sorry to just jump from that point.
No,
now,
please. I like
just...
to move away from this point, but they will be done now. we haven't been in work since Christmas. We've had time off.
All right.
Sorry, go on.
See why I have to nag him? Claire is asking about your book as well.
There's so much to
Let's
do.
get the
Do you know what?
beginners courses out.
Can I
shall we?
just give up the shop? If I can give the shop up completely, I can have so much more time to do all these things. But the shop demands that time, doesn't it? This is what we've always said. And I think I would love to get rid of the shop. Because, not that I hate the shop, but it's another stress, isn't it? Because when we were in lockdown last year, those 3 months, it was so less stressful because you didn't have to think about the shop and all the things involved with the shop and ordering stuff, seeing the reps, making the stuff for the shop, doing the commissions, seeing the customers and everything like that. If I could get rid of all that, I'd have more days to do. But that isn't going to be possible because the shop brings in work and projects to enable At the Bench as well. So it's a catch-22, isn't it, really?
So when are you going to do your book?
Come on. What's next? What next? Is there a question now?
No, I think we've outstayed our welcome now. Find someone to run your shop in the new year.
We've talked about this as well, haven't we? We have. Can I let go like that? Can I let go? I don't know.
Jason doing the shop.
No! Don't ever suggest Jason to run the shop, please. Don't. Please.
What days to clean the house?
Is that it then, Danny?
I think so.
All right then. Thank you all for watching today. Thank you very much. Happy New Year and congratulations on all the new toys that you've all had as well over the Christmas. What did I have? I must admit I did treat myself to a new pickle bath. Go on then, we love it.
No one trusts Jason.
No one trusts. No, you're right there, Madge.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it. Madge said it.
Oh, you're right. No one trusts Jason. No. So yeah, I treated myself to a new pickle bath because there was a hole in my other one and it kept shorting out the electrics.
The overheat metal question, Susan's. I don't think I saw that one, Susan.
Can you boil metal? Yes, you can overheat metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can overheat it. Yeah. You don't think you can actually reclaim it back without actually sending it off for refining.
Jason will be running the shop and soon everyone will be using adjustable saw frames.
He doesn't know how to use a saw frame.
Yes, he does. Don't be horrible.
No, he does. He needs a bit more practice. How's that? Anything else?
There's something about boiling metal. I can't find the original question now. Sorry, guys. Can you overheat silver when melting? Mine started splattering. Could be due to temperature difference. It was freezing in the garage. Is that the question?
Now, this is an interesting thing that we've had. People have been soldering in the garage and the solder hasn't been flowing very well.
It always seems to be in the garage, doesn't it?
Perhaps it is something due to the cold, perhaps. I don't know. But yes, you can overheat silver. If you have one of these torches, you can't really overheat these torches because they come at a set temperature because the intake of oxygen. But if you have things like a propane and oxygen, you can increase the temperature by increasing the flow of oxygen and it's this really hissy flame. And yes,
that will be too hot and you can overheat the metal. You can boil it, and quite often what happens is that it boils and the alloys that are in it boil as well, and the silver just goes all over the plate. Not all over the place, but it just doesn't flow right, it doesn't work right, and it just goes to pot. And the only thing that you can do that is send it off to the refiners to refine it back into new metal.
Is it because we're thinking about the temperature of the air, aren't we? But is it the temperature of the metal, or is it the temperature of the...
I don't know with the garage question. I don't know. I've never...
It's an interesting one,
had that one. It is, yes.
Should do a survey or something.
Okay. Do you guys have a video about the silver darkening? I missed that one then.
Oh,
no.
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay, don't worry. That is on the granulation star class rings. You would use liver sulfur or platinol to darken the silver, and that would darken the valleys, and then you just polish off the high spots on either side, and it leaves it nicely granulated. Okay then, Louise, that's about it, I think.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining us today. It's been another blast, another long question and answer. We could do this all night long, couldn't we? Sorry, am I keeping you awake? Maybe there's something dirty in the silver, so it spluttered. Sometimes it is due to the actual flame, and perhaps it is a little bit too hot, yeah. You're welcome, everybody. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all very much indeed for joining us. Any more questions? I'm sorry we didn't get around to everybody's, but again, join us again next week, the 11th of January, for our next question and answer. If you want your question answered, just get in really, really early, perhaps even half an hour before we come on air, just to be guaranteed then you have your question answered. And I apologise if we haven't got through everybody's question. Have you got the slide ready, Louise, to put into place?
No, I was just gonna...
What, to end it?
Yeah.
I think
abruptly.
So? Abruptly. We don't really have one, do we now?
Exactly. You keep saying get the slide ready.
I know. We're gonna have to get some new slides, aren't we?
Have to get a new producer.
Take care, everybody. We will see you all very, very shortly. I'm not quite sure how we're going to end this now. I'm just going to click end stream.
Just stop.
All right then. So I'm going to wave like this. Bye. And Louise is going to click end stream. Okay. So Louise, say goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Stay safe.
Everybody, take care. We will see you all next week, 11th of January, for our next question and answer. Take care. Bye.